Well, here we go. Turn 8. It is February 1915 on the Eastern Front. And the Germans have gone into the digging mode. So you can see here they dug a massive trench line and said, the heck with this. Over here, the Austrians have moved up. Austrians are staying put where they're at. And at the end of the turn, this disappears. Come back here again. That goes back. And that goes away. Alright, so they're no longer demoralized. Alright, so basically they are sitting kind of pretty good, holding, because really the only way into Austria is right here. You got to take this crossroad right there, what the Russians do. They had it at one time, but they will have to come back and take it again, or else you don't go anywhere. Because there's only two routes in there. You have to go this way over to here and then down, or you go this way, cross this way, or you go that way. So that's your routes in. And right now the Austrians have a good way of just holding that off. And over here your other route, but you have to lock in where the Germans are to hold them where they're at. And if you have enough forces, then you can force the issue through this way. But you got to secure that flank before, and that flank before you can go through there. And right now the road is open, but the Russians don't have the forces to go that route. And they're going to have to, because you got the Austrians kind of pushing up here, they got to put somebody right there to block that frozen river. Right now that river isn't even a defensive line, it's just open terrain. But that's what's going on the Eastern Front. So when you look at it strategically, there's only certain ways you can get someplace, because you can go this way, but you're stopped. You have, if you're going to go this route, you got to declare war on Romania. And Romania is kind of in your favor, so yeah. And then over here, the Ottomans are now at war, and this is the one interesting thing. Russia has 3 units here, so what does Romania have to do? They got to move 3, or the Ottomans have to move 3 units in there. It's like, okay, you got to counter. And then, oh, there's 2 units right there. So they need to bring in 2 units here to counter in the Middle East. So you have to make kind of equal circumstances right there. So right now, that just pulled a whole bunch of Ottomans, because the Ottomans joined the war. So now all of a sudden, all the troops that were over here are now moving over here. So there you go. Now the interesting thing is, it is February 1915, and Serbia has finally fallen. The Austrians attacked, and they had 2 army groups right there and attacked it, and that's all that's left, because they had a full exchange. And the Austrians took it in the nose, but they did take the Serbs out of the war. The Serbs did have some troops left, and I made a counterattack, and all it was the attacker eliminated. So, yeah, Serbia has fallen. That's the longest they've ever lasted. Ever. Playing like Guns of August and this game, which is kind of interesting, because it can happen. This has been a really interesting game for me. So far, it's gone this up here in the Western and Eastern Front. Things have gone pretty much the same I've had before in other Guns of August games. So typically, which is kind of interesting, because now we'll wander over here to the Western Front, and the Germans have smashed in to the lines. You know, the number of times I played this game, even Guns of August, the Germans always seem to crush the French eventually. And it's just a matter of attritioning them down and out, because the Germans can rebuild troops quicker than the French can. And if you start taking cities from them, then it just goes quicker. Now, there was a unit of British right there that had filled the gap trying to, and the Germans moved their troops in here and smacked it, crushed it. So their first British casualties have happened right here in this battle. And then over here, there was a unit of French right there, and it was a half exchange. So the Germans did lose some infantry, but they moved in and cut the line right here, and they've cut this road. The only thing stopping right now, the road to Paris, is British cavalry. So they're going to have to build some troops. They get some troops in here coming into the battle, but right now it's not looking good for the French. It's collapsing. So right now they've dug in this. There's supposed to be a dug-in marker right there. I don't know why there's not one there. We'll fix that. Put that there. There we go. That makes it better. They're dug in. So the French dug in, and the Germans haven't. They're trying to stay more mobile and continue the assault. So right now it is in the favor of the Germans on the Western Front, and it's keeping things from losing troops over on the Eastern Front. If you don't lose troops on the Eastern Front, you can lose troops on the Western Front and continue attacking. You know, you can lose an army group a turn with the Germans and maintain that pushing, trying to get towards Paris. Because you do have the replacement. It's a game of time in this one. Because eventually war weariness will catch up with you and you start losing replacement points. So you got to do a number and try to take out France early, and then you throw all your weight over here into Russia and try to crush Russia as soon as possible. Like, in the last game we played, I almost did it with the Germans, but the Russians held out and then turned around and then pushed back, along with some British and Americans showing up. Ended up winning the game. So it's a matter of time. That's one thing you got to look at. The time is not in the favor of the Germans. You have to be quick about knocking out your opponent. So there you go. We'll be back with the Allies. Here we go, turn 8, Eastern Front, February. Russians are attacking. They're pushing as hard as they can. They attacked here, and the end result was it was kind of an exchange of what the heck you call that? No decision. That's it. So each side loses a unit, and they have to lose equivalent defensive strength to their. So they lost a unit. They lost a unit. Over here, they attacked the unit that was here and crushed it. The unit was here. They had a 3-prong attack, hit it, and took it out. But it was a exchange. So the Russians lost their cavalry and some artillery right here, but they advanced and got some territory back. Over here, they got a 3-prong attack here, hit the German lines and got a disrupted and pushed them back. That's fallen. We'll have to fix that. But so they had to retreat out of the area, and the Russians advanced. So they're pushing on the Eastern Front. They're not giving up. So it's one of those deals where, yes, they continue to fight. They're not sitting on their laurels to see what happens. They're pushing the issue. Because they know the French are screaming in their telegram saying, we need as much pressure on the Germans as possible because we're having problems over here. They're eating our lunch. So they're trying to do as much as they can to help out the French. So it's push, 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 push. The Obviously, the Russians have plenty of territory to fall back on, because you have to get all the way over into this corner, Moscow and St. Petersburg. That's a long road. You're talking almost, even if the roads were open, it'll take you about 5-6 turns to get there with cavalry. And, well, with just regular infantry moving 3 hexes at a spot, yeah, it's a long time. So they can give up territory. The French cannot, because their doorstep is territory that they can't give up. So there you go. Obviously, we lost Serbia this turn. Over here, oh, that reminds me, I think I might have to do some rolling to. I have to take a quick look at gander at that. For I think in March we have to worry about people coming into the war. Or maybe it's later. I will take a look. All right, over here, the Germans had smashed into the line, broke a hole open, and then the French rushed troops in here and attacked right here and had a no decision, so they had to each lose a unit. So, yeah, that was one of those deals. And then the British moved their lines, moved out and attacked here along with some French. Unfortunately, because the French were involved, it was a -1 to the die roll because they don't like working out with each other. So if it would have been nice, it would have been an exchange, except it was a no decision, so both sides had to lose their best unit. So the British lost a unit and the Germans lost a unit. So, yeah, not so good. But they're trying to do their best to stop the slowly being pushed back. The way of the German forces is just hurting them. So, where's the book at? We'll have to go over here. Well, I know it's weather. Let's do the weather for March. Okay, March, we rolled a 5. What's the 5? 5 is up. Okay, Eastern Front. We still got snow for March, so things are just 1 hex movement. And we got mud on the Western Front, which isn't a big deal because you lose 1 movement point, and supply lines are reduced by 1. So instead of going out 5, you only go out 4. Eastern Front, you go out 3, which isn't really a big deal at the moment because everybody's on their supply lines, so it's not an issue for supply lines, it's just movement. Alright, let's just see here. Open the book up. Sorry for all the I have to go political matters. Right, Serbian tree. Here we go. Where the Ottomans are in the war. Okay, Central Powers. Okay. Every 6 months we did. Alright, so we don't have to worry about till May. Alright, so May of 1915. We'll make a die roll for those. Bulgaria is not till April. Romania is not till February of 16. The United States is in April. So we got 2 months. It is possible for the United States to come in 1915. It is possible. Not likely, but it is possible. So we'll just see. Alright, so we don't have to worry about any of that. Alright, so we'll just move on to turn 9, which will be March, which is mud and snow. Alright, we'll be back.